Hi, boys. We've finally gotten to our first story. We've done so much long vowel practice that you're experts now, I know. So let's start reading our first story. It's called The Whale. Whale has a long A, doesn't it? And a silent E. So we hear the A-L, whale. Awesome. Okay, so hopefully you can see okay. You can be looking at yours at the same time. So obviously we see a picture of a whale on the front cover. Anything else that sticks out to you? Tell your parents what you see on this first page. All right, let's look at the next page. And I'm not going to be able to turn my pages very well, so you're going to be patient with me. All right, here is our first page. It says, whales do not often get close to the shore. Look at that picture. They're way out in the deep water, aren't they? Yep, I see some clouds in the background. So they don't often get close to the shore. Why do you think that is? Why do you think that a whale or whales in general don't get close to the shore? Tell your parents what you think. I think it probably has something to do with how big a whale is, and I don't know that shallow water would be good for a whale. He may not float very well. All right, so here we are. We're on page 2 and page 3. It says, but this whale was very close to the shore. A big jet of water came from the hole on the whale's back. Now, isn't that funny? A jet of water, like our friend Jet, but it's spelled differently. So, here it is. It's too close to the shore. And I can see the sand right here. Okay. What else do you see in this picture other than the whale being in the shallow water? Whoops-a-daisy. A whale being in the shallow water. I can tell he's in the shallow water because I see the sand and because his tail and most of his body is sticking up out of the water. What else do you see? I see a lighthouse in the background. I see a boat over here. All right, let's turn. Sorry, this will not be speedy. All right, page 5 and page 6. Some men did watch the whale from the front, from a tug in the water. Now, what do you think they mean by tug? Where are these men? What are they on? We can see the whale over here. What are these men on? They're on a boat. And it's called a tug boat, but for short, they're just going to call it tug today. So some of the men did watch the whale from a tug in the water, a tugboat in the water. Just then, the whale swam to shore on a crest of a big wave. So here came a big wave, and it bumped it all the way up to the shore. Do you think that's where a whale needs to be? Why do you think being on the shore might not be where a whale is supposed to be? What could happen to a whale if he wasn't out in the deep water? All right, we're on page 6 and 7. The whale did land on the sand. It was stuck on the sand. Well, obviously, whales are not supposed to be on the sand. Tell your parents, talk about it for a minute, what you think would happen to a whale if he was stuck on the sand. What else do you see in the picture? I see that tugboat right there. I think that the people on the tugboat are watching all of this happen. What do you think will happen next? Let's find out. All right. Alrighty. Page 8 and page 9. It says, the men on the tug came fast. The men did want to help the whale. So I bet that was probably your prediction, that these people on the tugboat would come and help. And it looks like they are. What do you think, or how do you think that they could help the whale? What do you see in the picture that might help them help the whale? I see a big long rope and I see men running. So I think both of those things are probably going to help our whale. All right, turn. So you are on page 10 and page 11. Okay. Get mine to stand up straight. All right. A man did attach a rope to the whale. So they have a big long rope and they're attaching it to the whale. More men did fix the rope to the hull of the boat or of the tug. Now, what is a hull, H-U-L-L, of a boat? Anybody know? A hull of a boat is its structure or its frame. So they've tied the rope to the railing that is connected to the hull of the boat. Now, do you think it would work if the men just held the rope in their hands as they're going to try to help this whale? I don't know they would be strong enough, and I think it would burn, the rope would burn their hands if they couldn't hold on tight enough and it was running through their hands. But by attaching it to the hull of the boat, it's attached to a very strong structure. Okay, let's find out what happens. Page 12 and 13. The tug did pull the whale from the sand and into the water. The whale is safe. So that boat was so powerful, it could help the whale get it back to the deep water. All right, last page. Turn to page 14. The men did smile. It was a thrill to save the whale. That would be a thrill to see that, wouldn't it? Now, obviously, the whale wouldn't want to continue to swim around with the rope attached to it. So once they got it into the deep water, they have gotten the rope off, I imagine. But I see the men cheering. That would be exciting if you got to help do something really important like that, like saving a whale. Because I think that his skin would dry out and crack, and it would really be unsafe for him to be on land and not in water. All right, nice job. Now, the very next thing I want you to do is I want you to go back to the very beginning, and I want you to read this to your parent. I'm going to show you, I didn't show you this the first time around, but on this very first page, the title page, I skipped it last time, this is the title page. I want you to look right over here. On this, these are the focus concepts, the vowel consonant E words, lake, bike, road, tune, and Pete. Those are kind of reminders that along A, along I, along O, along U, and along T. But these are words that are going to be in our story. So obviously, I think that we should practice, you should practice these before you start the story. Okay? So we have came, close, whole, rope, safe, save, shore, smile, wave, whale, whales, whales. Now look carefully down here. Whale, W-H-A-L-E, is singular, just one. Whales, plural, would be a group of whales, more than one. And whales, apostrophe S, is showing ownership or possession. So it would be talking about something that would belong to the whale or be attached to the whale's body. So you'll have to find that word as you go through the story and see how it's used there. Okay? And then you may begin to read the story to your parents. After you read the story, we have our questions, just like we always do. Nothing is different. Remember, you must have your answer in a complete sentence. So number 1, it says, what did the men watch? Well, remember, start off by asking, who is this question about? What did the men watch? Well, it's about the men. So those are going to be the first 2 words of your sentence, the men. Now, go back up and think, well, what did the men watch? The men watched the whale, okay? Or the men watched the whale be stuck on a beach, okay? Let's go down to number 3. Number 3 says, who came to help the whale? Well, we can't say who is this sentence about because that's what they're asking you. Who came to help? Well, what's the answer? The men, right? That's who came to help. So again, your first 2 words would be the men. Now, the men what? Borrow all the words except who from your question. The men came to help the whale. So your sentence would be the men, and then you would use came to help the whale, period, not question mark, because this is the answer. You're using a statement, okay? But usually you can ask the question, who is this sentence about? Who is this question about? And then you can come up with the answer. But sometimes the question is the who part of your sentence, okay? So 5 questions, easy smeezy. There are a couple other things, other pages to work on. This one says, what can you do? Now, the purpose of this is for you to read the question and practice reading with long A words and short vowel sounds too as well. Long vowels and short vowels. So I want you to read to your parent and you ask them the question. Can you ride a bike fast? And then have your parents answer yes or no. You don't even have to write it down. You just need to ask your parent or your helper today the question and then let them answer. That'll be easy. The next one is a word sort. You're sorting all of these words at the top. You're sorting them by a short A sound, like in cat, k, a, like axe, or a long A, like in cake, k, a, k. Okay, so you're sorting the words by the short vowel sounds. The short A words are going to go over here, and the long A words will go over here. A big hint is remembering that that E is silent, and it magically turns that vowel into a long vowel which says its name. Okay? And just for fun, just for extra practice, here is a list of words, long and short, to practice and some sentences to practice. So this is just you practicing reading, okay? And you know how to read every single word on this paper because you know short vowels and you know long vowels. So there's not a single word on this paper that you do not know how to sound out and read, okay? All right, thanks for letting me read to you today. You may get busy with your parent or your helper now. Have a good afternoon.